The path narrowed and dipped, with many loose stones. To the left, the mountain plunged all the way into the valley far beneath. "Walk after me," she said to Dorotea. "Watch where you put your feet." Along the base of the rock, star-shaped purple saxifrage peeked through the stones. There was a small mound of brown pellets, sweating in the sunshine, spilling, a deer of some sort. Above them, growing straight out of the stone, was a small, twisted birch. The path veered right. Frederika hadn't seen this when they came, but here the side of the mountain had burst. There was a fracture cutting deep into the rock. Lynx lived in crevices like this. Trolls also. "Hurry," she said to Dorotea, and lengthened her steps. There was a large boulder and another bend in the path. The trail broadened. They were back in the forest. "I stepped on something prickly." Her sister lifted her leg and pointed at the sole of her dusty foot. Then Frederika sensed, rather than saw it. The goats sensed it too. They hesitated and stared at her, bleating large question marks. It was the smell, she thought. It was the same stench that lay over the yard when they slaughtered to have meat for winter. Earth, rot, feces. A fly buzzed into her ear, and she hit at it. Further away, between tree trunks, there was light. The glade. She put her finger to her mouth. "Shh," she whispered to Dorotea. Watching where she put each foot among blueberry sprigs and moss, she walked toward the brightening. At the edge of the glade, she stopped. Tall grass sprouted in tufts. A bouquet of hawthorn butterflies skipped and danced in the air like a handful of pale flowers thrown to the wind. At the farther end of the glade was a large rock. The pine trees behind grew close into a wooden wall. There was a shape beside the boulder. Yes, something had died. A deer. Or perhaps a reindeer. Dorotea took her hand and stepped close. Frederika looked around, as their mother had taught them, scanned the evenness of tree trunks for a movement or a shape. In the forest there was plenty of bear and wolf. Whatever had attacked could still be about, still be hungry after winter. She concentrated. A woodpecker tapped. The sun burned on her scalp. Dorotea's hand was sticky, twitching in hers. Nothing else. She looked back toward the carcass. It was blue. She let go of her sister's hand and stepped forward. It was a dead man there in the glade. He stared at Frederika with cloudy eyes. He lay bent, broken. His stomach was torn open, his insides on the grass, violently red, stringy. Flies strutted on the gleaming surfaces. One flew into the black hole that was his mouth. Dorotea screamed, and at once it was upon her. The stench, the flies, the man's gaping mouth. "Oh, Jesus, please help," she thought. They had to get to their mother. Jesus, the goats. They couldn't leave the goats. She grabbed her sister's shoulders and turned her around. Dorotea's eyes were round, her mouth wide open, strings of saliva that became a bubble, then popped. She lost her breath, and her mouth gawped in silence. "Dorotea," Frederika said. "We must fetch Mother." Dorotea wrapped her arms around her, clambered up her like a cat up a tree, clawing. Frederika tried to loosen her arms. "Shh." The forest was quiet. There was no rustling, no tapping, murmuring, or chirping. No movement, either. The forest held its breath. Her sister bent her knees as if to sit down. Frederika grabbed her hand and yanked her to her feet. "Run," she hissed. Dorotea didn't move. "Run!" Frederika yelled, and raised her hand.